Hello, students. I am Sandeep Chabda and I welcome you all to another session of the chapter Structure of an Atom. In our today's class, we'll be discussing continuous spectrum. We will then have a look at emission and absorption spectrum. We'll also look at the emission spectrum of hydrogen, and in the end, we'll see what do we mean by Rydberg's equation. Let us begin with the first topic, continuous spectrum. So we all know that when source emitting white light is allowed to pass through a triangular prism, the white light splits up into a light of 7 different colors. The splitting of light occurs due to refraction, and the refraction of light is inversely proportional to its wavelength. Now, since violet colored light has the shortest wavelength, therefore it refracts or bends the most. And since red has the longest wavelength, it therefore bends the least. In a similar way, since each color has a different wavelength, it therefore bends or refracts at a different angle, and thus the colors get separated from each other. We get a band of 7 different colors, and this band of 7 different colors is called a spectrum. This kind of spectrum is a continuous spectrum. The reason is because the colors have no gaps or breaks in between them. Thus, whenever we obtain spectrum from a source that emits white light, it is usually a continuous spectrum. Let us now understand what do we mean by emission spectrum. When electromagnetic radiations interact with atoms and molecules, the atoms and molecules absorb energy and reach a higher energy state. To understand that, I would want all of you to have a look at picture number 1. In this picture number 1, you can see that the electron is jumping from first energy or orbit to the second orbit. Again, see, electron is in its first orbit, absorbs energy, jumps into a higher orbit. Again, have a look. In the first orbit, absorbs energy, jumps into a higher orbit. This is what happens when atoms and molecules absorb electromagnetic radiation. The electron jumps from a lower orbit to a higher energy orbit, and the atoms are then said to be in their excited state. But the life of any atom in its excited state is short lived. Therefore, the atom again will want to return back to normal, or what we call as the ground state. Now, to understand how it returns back to its ground state, look at picture number 2. The electron here jumps from the higher orbit to a lower orbit. You can see from n is equal to 4, the electron jumps to n is equal to 1. But isn't it obvious that while going from a lower to higher orbit, the electron was absorbing energy when it was moving like this? So when it will jump from a higher to a lower orbit, it will have to emit radiations. So whenever atoms and molecules return from excited to their ground state, they do so by radiating energy of particular wavelength or frequency. If we obtain a spectrum of such emitted radiations, then such a spectrum is called emission spectrum. So what is an emission spectrum? It is a spectrum obtained by a substance that has absorbed energy, has gone to an excited state, and now by emitting energy is again returning back to its ground state. So if we obtain a spectrum of such emitted radiations, we are now going to call it emission spectrum. Let us move on to the next topic and understand what do we mean by absorption spectrum. To understand absorption spectrum, we will again have a look at another picture. Here I will first want all of you to concentrate on picture number 1, wherein you can see that a source is emitting white light which is passing through prism, and we know that it is going to give us a continuous spectrum without any breaks. But now look at picture number 3, where the source again emits white light, but before passing through the prism, it passes through a sample of cold gas. As you all know, that the molecules in the gas will absorb electromagnetic radiations, and therefore some radiations before entering the glass prism would be absorbed by the atoms and molecules of the gas. If I then obtain a spectrum of it, in that continuous spectrum, those radiations would now be missing which have been absorbed by the molecules of the cold gas. Therefore, for those particular wavelengths which have been absorbed by the molecules, there would be dark lines in an otherwise continuous spectrum. This kind of a spectrum is called an absorption spectrum. But look at figure number 2 and you will find an interesting fact that an absorption spectrum is actually a photographic negative of emission spectrum. Understand, when these molecules here have absorbed radiations, the gas has become hot. But atoms now absorbing the radiations are in excited states. They will again have to come back to the ground state. They will do so, as you know, by emitting radiations. But obviously they will emit only those wavelengths which they had absorbed. So if I see the emission spectrum, I will see bright lines in those regions, where in absorption spectrum I would see dark lines. In this way, I can say that absorption spectrum is actually a photographic negative of emission spectrum for a particular gas. So now we know the meaning of all three. We know what is continuous spectrum, we know what is emission spectrum, and we also know what is emission spectrum. Can I now say that emission and absorption spectrum cannot be called continuous spectrum? The reason is because in absorption spectrum you can see that in an otherwise continuous spectrum I can see some dark lines. So the colors are not continuous. They are being separated by some dark lines. Therefore, I cannot call it continuous. In a similar way, emission spectrum can also be not continuous, because emission spectrum would just consist of some bright lines. Those bright lines would correspond to the frequencies which the atoms are emitting while moving from excited to ground states. Thus, emission and absorption spectrum are not continuous. They are in fact called line spectrums because they consist of lines. In absorption spectrum, I have got dark lines in an otherwise continuous spectrum, and in emission spectrum, I have got some series of bright lines. The emission spectrum of any particular gas is its characteristic property. It is similar to the fingerprints, like in humans. Just as we identify humans with their fingerprints, in a similar way, elements can be identified by looking at their emission spectrum, because each element has its own characteristic emission spectrum. Is this something to do with the structure of an atom? Is this because of some particular kind of electronic arrangements within an atom, that each atom is giving a characteristic emission spectrum or line spectrum? We will get the answers to all these questions in a little while. But before we go ahead, let us now have a look at the emission spectrum of hydrogen. Why do we particularly discuss the emission spectrum of hydrogen and not any other element? The reason is because the emission spectrum of hydrogen is the simplest one. Why is it simplest one? You must have guessed by now, because hydrogen has only one single electron. Now, I want all of you to concentrate on right hand side of your screen. So here you can see an atom of hydrogen with a single electron. This single electron absorbs radiation and jumps into a higher energy level. But as we all know that the atom in its excited state cannot exist forever, and therefore very quickly will return back to the ground state. In order to do so, it will have to emit radiations. So what we find over here is that the electron, by absorbing energy, goes into a higher level, and then by emitting the radiation jumps back to a lower level. But this is one single jump. In fact, in an atom, there can be infinite number of orbits which can be possible. Therefore, there are various kinds of jumps that an electron can make. It is possible that the electron from the first level directly jumps to the fifth energy level over here. Now, while returning back from the fifth level again to the ground level, let us say over here, the electron will again have to emit certain radiation. But obviously the radiation that would be emitted while jumping from fifth level to the first level would be different than the kind of radiation which is corresponding to this jump shown here, that is from the second level to the first level. It is very obvious that the gap of energy between the two jumps is very different. Therefore, these are two different kinds of wavelengths or frequencies that are going to be emitted. In this way, electrons, by taking various jumps and emitting various different kinds of frequencies, would try to bring the atom back to its ground state. If we obtain a spectrum of all such emitted frequencies, we are going to get what we call as the line spectrum of hydrogen, which will consist of series of bright lines. So, the emission spectrum of hydrogen thus consists of a series of bright lines. These spectral lines in the emission spectrum of hydrogen that we see have been classified into various series. Now, as you can see here, the very first series is the Lyman series, and Lyman series will consist of all those lines which belong to the ultraviolet region, which fall into the ultraviolet region. Similarly, we have got Balmer series, which consists of those lines which fall into the visible region of the spectrum, and then we have got three more series which consists of lines falling in infrared region, and these are Paschen, Brackett and Pfund series. So to conclude, we will say that in case of hydrogen, when electrons take jumps from various higher levels to the ground level, they give out various characteristic frequencies, and the spectrum of all such emitted frequencies would consist of series of bright lines. The lines have been classified into various series like Lyman series for ultraviolet, Balmer series for those lines which are in visible region, Paschen, Brackett and Pfund series for those lines which fall in infrared region. Very interestingly, Rydberg, he gave one equation in terms of wave number for the lines in the emission spectrum of hydrogen. In terms of wave number, the very famous equation known as the Rydberg's equation can be stated as what you can see over here. It is 1 by lambda, which is the wave number nu bar, is equal to r times 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square. So what is r here? R here is what we call as the Rydberg's constant, and the value of r is 109677 centimeter to the power minus 1. N1 and N2 should always have got integral values, and let us try to understand this. See, in this Rydberg's equation, if N1 is placed as 1 and N2 has to be a value, integral value, but greater than 1, so that can be 2, 3, 4, 5 or so on. Placing the value of N1 as 1 and N2 as 2, 3, 4, etc., the wave number or the wavelength that you are going to get is going to be belonging to the ultraviolet region, and therefore obviously would fall into the Lyman series. In a similar way, if the value of N1 is placed as 2 and that of N2 is placed as 3, 4, 5 and so on, the wave number or the wavelength that you get belongs to visible region, and that would belong to Balmer series. So you have guessed correct that if for N1 you place 3 and for N2 if you place 4, 5, 6 and so on, the wave number or the wavelength that you get would now be infrared and would thus belong to Paschen series. Let us try to understand this with an example. So let us say we have been given that the value of N1 is 3 and that of N2 is 5. So if N1 is 3 and N2 is 5, obviously we are now talking about a spectral line that belongs to Paschen series. We already know the value of R, and that is the Rydberg's constant. We are now going to place all these given values in the Rydberg's equation. So for N1 you will be placing 3 and for N2 you will be placing 5 and you will be placing the value of Rydberg's constant. When you place all these values and you will solve for it, you are going to get the wave number, and the reciprocal of it would thus give you the wavelength of that spectral line. Once you have the wavelength of the spectral line, using our famous wave equation, we can also calculate the frequency. If you want me to recall the wave equation for you, the wave equation is that wave velocity is equal to wavelength times the frequency. And thus we can calculate the frequency as equal to c by lambda. That is what you can see over here. The value of c, that is the velocity of light, is constant, 3 into 10 to the power 8. And for lambda, you have calculated the value that you are going to place over here. When you solve this, you are going to get the frequency of that emitted radiation. Thus, by using this Rydberg's equation, or Rydberg's formula, you'll be able to calculate the wavelength or the frequencies of all those radiations that you are going to get in the emission spectrum of hydrogen. Let us go ahead and let us try to complete today's class by discussing one very important question that is very frequently asked in your exam, and that is difference in between continuous spectrum and line spectrum. So here are some points of differences which have been listed for you. So you can just go through them very carefully. I'll just wait for a minute till the time you can note them or you can read them. Great. So for today's class, let us on a concluding note revise what we have learnt. We started our lecture by understanding what is continuous spectrum. That is a spectrum which is given by any source that emits white light. Then we understood what is emission spectrum. It is a spectrum when any atom returns back to its ground state and emits radiation in that particular process. We get emission spectrum. We also understood what do we mean by absorption spectrum, that the white light first passes through a sample which absorbs certain radiations, and the spectrum obtained will have dark lines which will correspond to the radiations that have been absorbed. We call it as the absorption spectrum. We also understood the emission spectrum of hydrogen, which we now know can have series of bright lines corresponding to various jumps that the electrons would make from a higher energy level to the ground level. Various radiations or emissions given out in the hydrogen emission spectrum have been classified into Lyman series, Balmer series, Paschen bracket and Pfund series. And there is an equation called the Rydberg's equation that relates these to the wave numbers. We'll revise the Rydberg's equation as 1 by lambda, which is equal to nu bar, is equal to r times 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square. So that's all for the today's class. I hope you guys have understood each and everything that we have discussed today, and will very soon meet with my next video. Goodbye till then.